Bernardo Silva with his patented, hilariously honest critique on City and how they have done in the season so far. It's from a Sky Sports interview from a few days ago.
Very, very motivated to start well this year, knowing that 2024 was very, very good for us and the end very, very bad for us. When you play every 3 days for 5, 6, 7 years, eventually, to some players, that will have a cost.
Has it been difficult in that changing room? Has it been difficult as one of the senior players?
Well, didn't win. I never lost this amount of games, never in my career, not even when I was an academy player. Losing 2 games in a row was too much for me. It's just ridiculous to if you said this to me in the beginning of the season, I would have laughed because I wouldn't believe it.
For example,
right now it's about accepting the reality. I'm not looking at Liverpool. I'm 6th or 7th in the league. I cannot be looking at Liverpool or Arsenal or whatever. I'm looking right now at the next game to try and win 3 points, to be, if I'm 7th or 6th, to be 5th and to be 4th and to be 3rd. I would say not impossible because in football there are no impossibles, but right now Man City is completely out of the title race. There's no question about that. It's too late for us. People always say that you don't win a league until January, but you can lose it. And this season the reality is we've lost it.
Ugh. Man, if you possibly are going to say no to my cold open question, wait till you hear Pep after the win against West Ham. You might change your mind. I am leading the witness. Tarik, welcome. Just played Bernardo, basically being very honest about what he has seen from the club so far and everything. And we got right to the timed it perfectly because I'm about to ask my cold open question, which is, I'm going to lead the witness a little bit, but I'm going to do it. City are finding ways to win in spite of the bad play. That's what champions do, is it not? So, here I am to ask you, is the season lost? Should I stop thinking about the Premier League title? Sharpie, I'll go with you since you heard Bernardo's takes specifically. I'll let Tarik.
I mean, yeah, you should stop thinking about the title. Doesn't mean the season's lost, right? Like, only one team can win the Premier League.
So that
it doesn't mean
focus on the Champions League then.
Focus is a strong word. I think this is not going to be a year where, like, oh my God, we win 2 to 3 trophies, right? Like, it may be a no trophy year, but it doesn't mean it has to be a bad year. And I think that's the luxury of when you win 6 out of 8 or 6 out of 7 or 4 in a row. Like, you're not going to win them all. So, yeah, if we would have started off differently, then of course we'd be right in the fight. But, we know the situation. So I think Ronaldo's thinking about it right way. You just take it one match at a time and you try to win 3 points and control what you can control.
I agree with Sharpie. You just got to go win the match in front of you, win each match. Because in order to win a title or a trophy, we would need, in this case, the Premier League trophy specifically, we would need a lot of help. We need Liverpool to drop a lot of points, Arsenal drop a lot of points. And I just think you just play the game in front of you, win each match, let them do what they do. If we find ourselves in striking distance at the end, great. But I agree with Charlie. That's most likely a year where we end up with one or even no trophies. And as much as we hate that because we're so used to, we kind of gotten spoiled and we're kind of gotten used to winning trophies, you can't win them all every single year. I think we try to improve our play throughout the rest of this season and position ourselves to be strong in the market, so on and so forth, so that we can be ready for next season and go get it back.
Tarik, I love that point you made about positioning, because if we struggle, let's say we finish 8th, right? That would be like everybody will overtax us in the market this summer because they know we need the players. But if you have a strong finish and you have your second or third, which is basically the same, right? Who cares? Like, okay, now we're like, okay, we're at a position of power. They had the rough injury spell. And now it's like, we're going to take the players we want from everywhere. So yeah, the good play is important. I mean, there are fun stats to get. Players got to come back and like, you know, reestablish themselves, like we'll talk about later. So there's a lot of storylines and stuff to watch.
But what I would say, if by some act of God that we were to win this, the amount of vitriol that we are going to hear, because even on our worst, we can come back and win it. They will really think that they have no chance. There is no hope for anyone else in this league. If we can lose as many points as we did in that about a month span, maybe longer. If we can do that and still win, then I might believe that there's no hope for anyone else. I don't believe it right now, but I might have to accept that there's no one else that can win it except for us.
Well,
I would like to see that happen. Only right below seeing the 115 go away and there's no issues, no problems, and the uproar that's going to cause. Second to that would be
maybe it's not being relegated is a great season. No relegation.
Yeah.
It's fine. We're back in the Premier League next year.
Well, but
cool.
you I don't know if you saw me post the other day. Like, if by chance we were to get relegated, you know, United was doing their best to make sure that our neighbors are there with us. Now they got a point today, but you know, chances of them, we will finish ahead of them. Let's just say it that way.
oh man! All right, well, we're making art over here. Capitalize that.
Hey, people say that.
Wait, oh, that's the wrong intro.
I hate the most is when you don't want the ball. I hate it. You have permission to make a mistake. You have permission to lose. You have permission.
And that's when we get big.
Yeah, I'm a genius.
Attack everyone and send everyone.
I think we're forgetting the most important thing. We're forgetting about focusing just on ourselves.
But we can do better. We need to take the next step, and there's no better place than taking the next step here.
Show ourselves out there how much we want to win it again.
We win 4 of the last 5 Premier League, guys. 4 of the last 5 Premier League. Are we going to do it again?
Don't ask me again about doubles, triples, quadruples, fifth-tuples, six-tuples, and seven-tuples. So,
Don't do it. Hey, and welcome to episode 122. Shades of
World's famous.
We are the most comprehensive show about Manchester City, covering both the men and women's game. Spanning both sides of the Mason-Dixon line. We're making art over here, capitalized to A. I am CrunkChocolate. I'm here with my show bros, Sharpie Charlie, Tarik. How's it going? How you doing? How you feeling?
Feeling good. We actually won a game again.
Yeah,
2 in a row. So feels real good.
Let's go.
You know, to that end, I had the best sports weekend possible. Every team I cheer for won a game. Personal accomplishments, snow day tomorrow. I love 2025 right now. Great start to the year.
So are you back tomorrow, or kids back tomorrow? Everybody back?
Oh no, I was back in DC. We went back Thursday and Friday. It was so annoying.
Oh, okay.
So I felt like the snow day is like karma. Like you all sent us back when the rest of the country had 2 weeks off. So it's nice to have a 4-day week. Looking forward to it.
Yeah. So my wife is back tomorrow. The kids go back Tuesday. So of course my kid is already like, you know, there's snow on the horizon. We should just go ahead and call it
on the horizon.
At least a 2-hour delay. I'm like, you got this like 48 hours before you even had to be at school. You already talking about a 2-hour delay, or it's like you've been off for however long. Just appreciate the kid.
I love it.
Like, we're gonna go snow. You might as well just get rid of this whole week. You know, let's try again next.
If you
month.
let her tell it, she would absolutely do that.
Yeah, it's been good. Just I'm doing a dry January. So this has been
Me too.
really, yeah,
Me too.
nice.
Yeah.
I've been wanting to, like, there are a lot of things that I felt like I missed out on last year, and I wasn't, and it's not necessarily blaming alcohol, but starting the morning with a little more like zip. Like, it's been really nice. There have been multiple times so far this week, and I know it's just 4 or 5 days into the year, but I've like gotten up, I brewed my coffee, I go immediately into my office and I start working on stuff. I didn't even realize I didn't even get my coffee. I've just been working for like two straight hours. And if I have a beer or two or make a cocktail or whatever, I'm a lot slower in the morning. And it takes me a little longer for me to get in the vibe. Maybe I won't do a little bit of work here or there. And it's been nice. Naturally, it saves money, blah, blah, blah. But it's all been, I want to start my month off good and just carry that energy for the rest of 2025. That's been kind of the main thing that I've just been doing and trying to. I'll talk about it in a moment, but been working on the Patreon, really getting to that, building on that, and just trying to be even more prepped and planned than the previous year. Really, growth. While also not being so angry at myself if I don't do what I need to. But so far, that hasn't been a problem. Before we get into anything else at all, what I need you to do right now, if you're watching on YouTube, hit that thumbs up for us. Show us some love. Leave a comment on what you thought on the episode. Maybe retort to something one of us said. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Good Pods, any of those podcast streaming services that allows you to rate and review, please do that. Give us a 5-star rating. Thank you. As I said earlier, subscribe to our Patreon for $6 a month. It's where you could watch this recording right now, live. If it's on a private server, we share it to the Patreon. And if they want to, they can watch when we are. You can know what we talk about before it even comes out to the public. Original premium content like Breaking Bread, our match preview series, where James Jones of We Are West Ham podcast joined me last week to talk about City's win. He actually predicted a 4-1 City win. I didn't believe him, but that's why we bring on guests who love and are as knowledgeable about their clubs as we are over here at SOBP. One Up Front podcast will be on to tell us about Salford City. Charlie Core, who runs the NYC Brentford official supporter group, will be on to talk about the Bees. And Olivier Deberges of PSG's official supporter group will be on before the UCL match. For those who love French accents, that has to be worth $6 in it, like at least. And then we got the Chopping It Up interview series, where we have episodes with Aaron West, Miles Gray, Andre Carlisle, and Howard Hawken already up to go. And we got recordings with next month, the next 30 days or so, with Lloyd Scragg of 9320, Courtney Stith, Anthony DiCaccio, and Cudsy. If for people who don't know, she's been on hiatus. So I'm thrilled to be able to be the person to get them out of their hibernation. Also, other premium content like the Shady Gang Cinema Club, where twice a month we will be watching a City Plus documentary or a football-themed movie. Think The Big Green, Goal 2, or The Ladybugs. All in all, it's about 20 extra hours of content at least for $6 a month. Check out the description and the link, subscribe, and help this podcast grow.
Did you ever watch Kicking and Screaming, I think it's called?
Hell yeah, I love that movie. That's on the
you didn't say that one so I was like, I wonder if he
I know, I'll send you guys a list. I basically have it like Monday, January through December. And what I'm gonna do is the first, I think this month and next month I have us already figured out, but I figured the rest of it we can put it up in Patreon and polls and let people vote what do they want us to watch. It's like these two movies, and from there, a little participation is always fun. So subscribe to the Patreon, you'll be able to watch movies with us. And the beautiful thing about Patreon is if you don't have the rights to these sites, that's what we're here for. Patreon is hidden behind a paywall. We don't have to worry about any of the distribution, DCMA, all those other things. It doesn't happen behind a Patreon. It's a beautiful thing. Beautiful, beautiful thing. So come through, have some fun with us. It's going to be a vibe over on Patreon. I'm going to try to calm myself down with my takes so then I can take my wildness over to Patreon. And like, if there's anything I ever need to talk about, I'm like, nope, let me calm down. Let's bring it over to Patreon, guys. In today's episode, the show.
We should have got an OnlyFans instead of a Patreon. We should have got an OnlyFans. Nobody says you have to have like sexual content on OnlyFans.
Well, and that's what OnlyFans started
as. The conversation would have been worth it, right? People have been like, Shades of Blue has an OnlyFans? What?
Automatically getting clicks because they're like 99-cent clips. I'm just saying, bro, if we need to monetize in the last part of the year, let's try it out. July 1. We'll circle back Q3.
We've been joking about Only Shades for a year plus now.
Hey, there it is. I'm not mad at it.
In today's episode, we'll talk about the one match. Wow. West Ham. We are going to review. And then we got one preview for, again, only one match this week. And this is a chance for City to bounce back from their big Manchester derby loss to United. It is a chance for us to establish being the second best club in Manchester. You know, how do my show bros feel about the FA Cup match against Salford City? Confident and trepidation? Find out soon. And then we're going to end the episode with our chance to throw roses or throw tomatoes at a player, manager, or club during shock, awe, and applause. All right, let's get to this match against West Ham. City's starting lineup was Ortega, Vardiol, Ake, Akanji, Lewis, Kovacic, Silva, De Bruyne, Savinho, Foden, and Haaland. What were y'all's thoughts on this lineup? We'll start with you, Tarik.
So I have to go back and look at it again. I was actually in my car when I had to watch it back later. Tell me the lineup one more time. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries. Ortega, Vardiol, Ake, Akanji, Lewis, Kovacic, Silva.
Yeah, I think the thing that I guess stood out and the thing that I think I saw commented on more than anything else was just the fact that we had a unchanged lineup. Mm-hmm. I don't know the last time that we've had an unchanged lineup. So I think I know me and maybe others was just screaming out to Pep, just leave it like it is. We had some success with it. And we saw some good things. Keep it there. I really wanted to see Savio get another goal. Another opportunity on the left side. I said that after I don't know, whenever I said it when we last talked. But I was desperate that Pep not move him or not change it up, like leave it. Pep did that. So we saw good results. And so hopefully we've found something that is starting to click, or at least pieces that are starting to click, and we can lock those things in and then just tinker with other stuff until we get the whole lineup dialed in. But I think that was the biggest thing for me is just, hey, it's unchanged. And my guy Savinho gets to run out again on the left.
Yeah, and Pep had mentioned, it was post the match, but he still mentioned how great it is to have a left-footed player on the left and a right-footed player on the right, and it's best for Haaland.
You saying that like he ain't the one that can control that.
I know, but he said it. Like, he's the one who mentioned it. He's like, oh, it's
I know, but I'm saying, like, he's saying it like it's a shock, it's a surprise. Somebody else put it in place. Dude, you the one. It's your lineup. If you wanted a left footer on the left side, you could have done that a long time ago. But I'll take what I can get. I appreciate it.
Right. He impresses himself. Yeah, it was great. Sharpie, what were your thoughts on the lineup?
I'll focus on the bench, right? Like, there were no academy players on the bench, which means that, and I mean, we have young players, right? Like JSP and Nico Riley young, but they've been with the squad all year, right? So I'll leave them out of it. But you had Grealish, you had McAtee, Gunda, Walker, Nunes, and Daku all there as viable options if needed. But because we had, a week off in between matches again, I knew that like subs would come if A, the match was in great form, or B, they were like really, really needed. Because if you can get these players extra rest, you take it. So I was really happy to see the options that we had to switch things up, to lock it down, to attack, whatever we needed to do. We had pieces to do it. And I do love that back three of Akanji, Ake, and Vardiol. It's the best combo of size and pace that we have. And so it's nice, especially with, Ruben and John out. Love the A's together. So that felt good. So yeah, it was it's the best we could get. And I thought it would lead to a really good match.
Yeah. Facts. The way that we can do it, 4 goals, 5 goals. There's plenty we can address from the match, but I'll just go down through the goals. If there's anything in between that you want to discuss or add in, obviously feel comfortable doing that. And we'll just start off with the 10th-minute goal, own goal by Kufal, which was the making of a hungry Savinho, who had Kufal in the 13th level of hell for 80 minutes. The own goal came from the team pressing after Savio's first cross was headed away, giving them a second chance at goal. Savio ended the match with an 8.7 rating on FOTMob, 2 assists off of an XA of 0.68, 3 chances created, won 3 of 5 of his ground duels, even contributing defensively with 3 defensive actions and 3 recoveries. Before we start speaking highly about Savinho, I think now is a good time ever to play the whole clip that is all the rage right now. It dropped 3 hours before this recording. I was already in the middle of one perspective and going one way at this, and then Pep dropped this, and I had to like change things up, delete some things, and scramble. But it was well worth it.
And the players, if the players, they believe what they have done enough in the past, it's enough to let the card to play and do that. If they believe, they are wrong. With me, they are wrong.
It's
easy.
Win back his place.
It's easy. As much he looks himself, and we see the contention, so they have to compete themselves. And now Savinho's in better shape and everything than Jack. And that's why I played Savinho. I want the Jack for the travel. Yeah, I want it. But I try to be honest with myself. I have to prove, okay, I'm going to fight with Savinho to deserve to play, in that position. And every single day, and every single week, and every single month. Savinho, there is someone in this room that Savinho don't deserve right now, doesn't deserve to play? No, deserve. So that's why I play. Because he produced, Goal the other day, and Everton was brilliant. And Leicester make the first goal, and today make a goal, and 2 unbelievable assists. The second goal from the beginning, and that is top. So,
an unbelievable assist. I love the way Pep says assist. Savinho in better shape. Yes, that is the most obvious thing because it's what he says first. But what really hit me was when he was like, I had to be honest with myself about Grealish. And the fact that Grealish, Pep has been saying basically, hey, if their players are okay with what they did in the past, he said it in the clip that before he got to the whole Savio is in better shape. He said the same thing. He said it multiple times before the match, after the match. This is purposeful. And Grealish, he's out of shape. Obviously is trying to be like, hey, I brought you guys the treble, but what does that do for you now? And that is what Pep is trying to get Grealish and whoever else is struggling to get on the pitch to understand. It's kind of interesting. We know there's something going on, and Pep has also said that Grealish has been struggling with injuries, but when he's not being injured, obviously Grealish believes he should be starting because of what he has done in the past.
You think that Pep was saying that Grealish believes that? Or just, again, that... Because I would question if Grealish... Now, again, I love Savinho. I'm okay on Grealish is whatever. I mean, so I would much rather have Savinho on the left than Grealish right now, right? But that's neither here nor there. I wouldn't imagine that Jack would say, oh well, what about all the things that I did? Because I think as a professional player, you know that it's really what have you done for me lately,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so I think as fans, we say, oh, well, because again, most of us are going to try to defend Jack when he gets, crapped on by other fans of other clubs, and
Mm-hmm.
who tell us he's £100 million a pound flop and all this other stuff, right? And so, well, but the response that you get from most City fans is, well, he was crucial to that treble winning season. That's what we do. We point to that season because that was his best run of form. That was when he was delivering for us. And so we defend him by pointing to that. I would, if he spoke to that, I would be like, one, I'd be shocked. But then two, I'd be like, dude, yeah, we gotta get rid of this dude. Because if he's trying to remind us of what I did 2 years ago, yeah, nah, that's not gonna fly.
Well, before you go, Sharpie, I don't think he's necessarily because, and this is I do think he said it, but it's more of like how he said it. I could see him like having a one-on-one with Pep and just being like, yes, I understand I'm struggling with shape, but you know how I am. You know what I can be. Like, does that not count for anything? I could see him being like coming from a place of like being hurt, almost needing that needing to be consoled and things like that. And Pep just being like, yes, it was great. I appreciate it, but do you not see what Savio's doing? He's contributing. And that's how Pep, well, that's how I ended the clip that Pep said. He was just like, look, he's assisting in this match. He's assisting in this match. He's setting up goals in this match. Like, how can I rightfully bench him for Grealish, who's been inconsistent? Yeah. What, you got any thoughts on it, Sharpie?
Well, Tarik, you couldn't hear the watch along, being dad of the year. But I was going in on Grealish. I think I was in a very cranky mood.
Yeah,
and so I referred to Grealish as being like celibate to goal scoring. Like he refuses to do it. He went a whole year without it. That's incredible.
That's horrible.
But it's
horrible. But it's not wrong. If you ask, did he lie? No, he didn't lie.
He abstained from goal scoring for a whole year, and I hope it changes this year in the next start against Salford, hopefully. But my point is, I'm all about results, and as a supporter of the club over anybody, whoever's playing the best should play. And I've been on Phil's head. Like, Phil has not done anything until we'll talk about it later. But like, you have to produce when you wear this crest. That is the whole point. Because now as things start to come out and people start to get a little distance from their emotions, if you look at all the different lists of what Raheem Sterling did at this club, and you think about the way people talked about him compared to the kid gloves or even I would say toddler gloves they give the Grealish, come on now. Like, if Raheem Sterling went a whole calendar year without scoring a goal, they would have asked that man to be out by Boxing Day, not nevertheless like the summer window. Like, come on, man. So it's just perspective is everything, and I think Grealish had some things down. Do I think he's honest being played out of position? Yes. I will stick to that. He is not a winger. He is a midfielder. And the match that we dominated for us, he was amazing in midfield because that's where he's most comfortable. He has space to go left and right. So I feel like part of it is Pep playing out of position, and maybe, by force we'll get him inside. But, hey, the best people get on the pitch, and the results, they tend to follow.
Yeah, that's fair. It's all very fair. It's and we'll talk about when Grealish did come on. Man's look like he has been going through some shit. He looks like he is struggling. Also, Pep said when he was talking about him being injured, because I believe it was Jack Gone even specifically was like, you played him in midfield, and then we didn't see him again for like a couple of weeks. What happened? And Pep was just like, yo, he's injured. Like that's basically it, plain and simple. And I know to get back to your best, you got to play, but I can't play him right now. So it's really, so he got healthy, but that was KDB returned. And if you got to pick KDB or Grealish, I think most people would pick KDB, and then Savio's killing it. So it's a cold world situation. Rico Lewis looked like the lad we fell in love with a few years ago. It does appear that that time off, the rest, was very important and needed for him because he seemed very energetic. I don't think he fell to the pitch at all. And if he did, it didn't feel like he was being overpowered. He didn't stick out. And actually he did, because he had a good shot at goal that actually would have been a goal if not stopped. And he set up a couple situations. So yeah, Rico Lewis was playing very well. And that was good to see. It made me happy. It made me very happy. The 42nd minute goal by Haaland, assist by Savinho. My God, the way Savio roasted, pan-seared, braised, grilled, stewed, chicken, fried kufal, and just cooked man's. The far post cross where only Haaland could reach to. During the watch party, Sharpie was saying how he missed the pings across court, switching the play. And I was just asking for our crosses to be moved up just a little bit higher for Haaland. I know they weren't listening because they were on the pitch, but obviously our words hit them in their spirits. And you can't tell me anything different.
So I obviously I didn't hear or see the watch along. So yeah. I didn't know that you had said this. I was waiting for you to finish because Savio rightfully gets the credit for the assist. Brilliant ball, played it early. We don't put balls like that in. Mm-hmm. We're too afraid to lose it. But he was found in space by a big switch, which you called out, by Phil Foden. Foden gets no credit for that, nor should he. But I guess I just want to point out the fact that, you know, even when he does get on the stat sheet, but even if he doesn't, there's still things that he's doing that I think are important to the success of this club, obviously, both in the short term and in the long term. So when I watched it back, having the luxury of not already knowing that we won, so I'm not stressing about what's going to happen. I can just watch it freely. That stood out to me because, to your point, we always used to get that from our back line. That was the big Laporte switch over to Mahrez going from left to right. This time, Foden played it more from the right to the left. Walker doesn't play that ball, but Foden does. And Rico doesn't play that ball. We're not playing that ball right now. Foden finds that man out in space, and then, to your point, he cooks Kufal, and the rest is history. So I just want to give him his props on that.
Yeah, that's fair.
Totally agree about Foden, like, starting the play, right? You have to have that progressive pass, and that's why Tom always harps on the midfield, right? Most things come from the midfield and some action. So that was the one that got it started. But Savinho being left-footed on the left is the only reason that goal happens, because a right footer could not do that unless they are like truly, ambidextrous. But they got to
cut back in. Yep.
And that lets the goalkeeper see the path to the ball. Because if you notice, Ariola got caught.
It comes from a different angle.
Yeah, and it's weird. And so, like, you're like, wait, is this ball going near? Is it going far? Because he went out and the ball went right past him. And so basically it was like an open net for Haaland. And Haaland could read it. And that's just, now you have 20 plus matches of playing together, or however many times they play together. You have months of like time built in. So he knows, like, okay, if I get it up, he's on the shoulder, but he's not touching the defender, so he can move quickly versus being kind of held up. Which is what I was like stressing on the watch along. Is like, as long as Haaland isn't a magnet to the defenders, he always has the advantage. He lets people defend him when he stays still, or like he doesn't leave the 18. And in this case, he knew, his movement in the box is superb. So it was a beautiful goal. And I think, as Crunk would tell you, like, that was when we could like exhale. It's okay, 2-0. Like, we're going to win. I don't know what the final score would be, but West Ham gave nothing that would say we're going to lose this league. Is that how you felt, Crunk?
Yeah. Suchek had the one shot in the 8th minutes. But other than that, I really wasn't worried. Kudus didn't seem too locked in. Paqueta didn't start heating up until it was like the 70th minute. I don't know. It even though City did not look great, there was just no teeth in West Ham. I definitely
think
felt
that's the
a goal like Haaland scored. Like when you cook a player like that, you do a crazy cross like that, and then just like a header, the keeper takes the ball. It's just one of those where it breaks your soul, and it's very tough. You have to be a very mentally strong club to bounce back after something like that.
Yeah, I think watching it again, it felt like in the beginning of the match, West Ham had what they say found some joy, had some joy. They were putting us under a bit of pressure. The longer the match went on, the more we grew into it, the less it was an issue. And I'm not even looking at the stats at the moment, but it would not surprise me. Yeah, see, they had they had 17 total shots. Only 4 of them were on target. They had the same number of big chances as we did, 3-3. But it feels lopsided when you look at the score sheet, 4-1. It doesn't feel like that game was a 4-1, that big of a difference in watching the play. But if you want to say we were clinical in moments, we got the goals when we needed them. However you want to look at it, we'll take it as a positive. But I think they can't defend, and that's their issue right now. For whatever reason, they can't defend. But I thought there were moments when they kind of threatened us and made me. Obviously, I knew what the scoreline was going to be, but just watching it, it's like that's dangerous.
I'll play the clip after the match, but Pep was basically just like, we get ourselves in trouble because we don't make the extra pass. We get too impatient. And instead of just going back again, and I know that's annoying. I know it's not sexy, but like we just need to make one more pass. Quit trying to run through 3 people. Like just relax, calm down. And, we're seeing more of that.
I will say, just from a entertainment perspective, it's way more entertaining when the possessions, let's say 60-40, 57-43, than like 70-30 and we're playing a low block, right? Because those are the matches that are the most frustrating, where like they're not even trying to come out. At least West Ham had the goal. Like Lopetegui said, okay, we're going to try to play. Because they easily could have went 5-4-1, sit back, try to hit on the counter. It's 0-0 in the 80th minute. Like we've seen that story so many times. So I always see these matches like, okay, we're gonna have joy, but we're also gonna give up a little bit because they want to play. I'm not bored by it because I appreciate all the intricacies of it, but it's definitely just easier on the eye when both clubs have the ball and when both clubs have some type of threat, because it's a turnover, it's transition. Now we're on the break, and it's how we got to go later. So it's like you got to have a team that wants to play with you, which is why we love the big matchups, because all those teams want to play with us. They don't just sit back. And so West Ham had every reason to try to just play for a point, and they didn't. So credit to them. But, I know there's a lot of talk about, we weren't great. And we weren't great, but I'm not going to discount being up 2-0 or, a final score 4-1 at all. Like that's fun. Like, and as a supporter, I'm not a backroom staff member. Like I can enjoy the fun of winning or being up 4-0. Like that was great. And we hadn't had that in months.
Yeah, it was. So first half hits, and Sharpie and I, we were like, all right, time to grab snacks. So obviously we were feeling in a pretty good spot. Yes, Tarik, you already acknowledged you watched the match back after, so the score line. But even I love watching the match for the second time because you do get to see different things. You're seeing it in a different way. Even after the 2, could you see maybe West Ham scoring more, or could you see like what stuck out from you from that first half?
Well, Yeah, so if I was just looking at the play and I didn't know everything that had happened or whatever, I would have thought that they had a chance to get one for sure, because I felt like they had opportunities on the break where they were obviously very deadly. They didn't convert from it, but I would have thought that was where they were going to get their goal, and I know that we're suspect to it. There's been, I want to say it was from this match where there's a image that's been floating around on social media that shows them coming at us on a break, and the gap between our back four and then the midfield two.
Yeah.
Because at that point Rico had dropped into the back line, and just how much space there was in between there. And so you get 5 attackers going at 4 defenders. It's like a fast break in basketball. You got numbers. They didn't score from it, but I could see something like that being the thing that it's our Achilles heel, right? And it's always going to be the thing that we have to watch for. So yes, I would have thought normally that they would have had a chance to get one. But anytime we get Holland, because when he scores, he feels better. It's like, I think Deion Sanders talks about being when you look good, you when you feel good, you look good, you feel good, you play good, whatever the saying is. When he scores, when he's feeling good, he's effectively unstoppable. When we're going against that low block, he's not touching the ball, he's not getting involved. That's when he struggles, I think, and he kind of, I won't say shuts down because that's not the right word, but it just, that frustration is obvious.
Yeah.
So I would say that at halftime, he's got a goal. You can see his appreciation for Savio. They're linking up. I would have thought we were going to win it, but I would have thought that we may not have kept a clean sheet.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, man. Second half. I love that they brought the energy immediately, like with Savio and Holland, and in the second half, how they basically started the second half, how they ended the first half. Savio blazing down the pitch, feeds the cyborg. Holland goes to cut around the keeper. That was a trick because it drew out Areola and just dink the keeper. And again, Sharpie was like, hey, I want to make sure people know that was a dink. It wasn't a chip. It was a dink. They are different.
Okay, so explain me the difference, because I want to know so I can call it correctly in real time.
I think it's more so like the distance, right? You can't chip that close. Like a chip, I have to like go over you, like almost like in a full stretch type of thing.
Okay.
Like I'm literally like I'm outside and like running up, and like Messi would do that, right? He would chip the keeper because it's like going over their almost full body, right? Versus like a dink, the guy's like it's like it's a mini chip, It's just like it's cute. It's just over your horizontal body versus being more vertical.
Gotcha.
And I feel like that would be it's almost like you play golf, right? Like if you're chipping something, it's a big, like you coming out of a bunker, like you got to chip that thing, get it up and over, versus like it's got to go from like a little bit of the fairway or a little bit of the light rough into the green. I might just need a little bit,
Yeah.
a little something.
Okay.
But credit to Savinho for playing the through ball. That's a very like KDB type pass.
Well, and that's the thing that I think, and I know I didn't mean to cut you off. Apologies.
Oh, good. Go.
No, I commented again, watching it back and commenting late last night, is just the different ways in which Savio has proven to be able to get the ball to Holland. We've always said Holland, we know, everybody in the world knows he is at his best when he can run at the defense. When he's able to run in transition, you play that through ball, that is Holland at his best. So we get him basically back post by himself, maybe one-on-one with the header in the first half. And then Savio feeds him the through ball that Gundo, in that first season that Holland was there, I think Gundo played that ball. KDB plays that ball still today, but they're the only ones. No one else is playing that ball as far as I recall, no one else is playing that ball. And so to see Savio
played it occasionally in the middle.
Yeah.
Phil can play it, but those two are the best two at it.
Yeah. So to see Savio show the different ways in which he can operate. I think when you look at the numbers, and again, this is a KDB on the downside of his career. This is a Savio who's young, who's whatever. But the numbers for this season are really, really close for the two of them. That's not to say that Savio can have the type of impact that KDB has had over a long term of his career. But from a creative standpoint, I think Savio could be our primary creator, because I think he's more creative than Phil. Once KDB goes, Savio, without question, to me, is our most creative person on the pitch. Because I said, I've said that Kovacic does not have a creative bone in his body, and I take some of that back, but not a lot of it. There's, Gundo was past it. He's, he'll try it, but not really that often anymore. He's much more safe with his passes. I don't see anyone else.
Yeah,
I would set a shout to Daku. I feel like because the way that the players play around him, and because like they know his skill set, so he'll get places, but they won't be there. Like so many times a game, like Daku will have a ball that's going across the 6 or it's in the box, right? Like it's just like he is creating in those tight spaces, but I think very rarely do we see him in a game that's that open. Right. We've seen Savinho struggle in games against low blocks because it's just harder to do.
Right.
And that's where, like, unless you're a vet like Mahrez who can just manipulate a defense and, that takes time to get there. Right. But Daku, when he's there against a low block, he's always creating chances. It's just never in this much of a free flowing game. Right. And so I think that's the hardest part to say. But your point is this, like, I would rather have a ranking of 5 players and then only have like 2 this season. Whereas, like, I don't feel confident right now, in big matches. This wasn't a big match.
And to your point, we've seen a lot of balls that Doku has put in that weren't converted or whatever. But again, he's been playing inverted just like Savio has. So I was going to say, well, we've not seen Doku put that ball in like Savio has, for only he's on that left side. Well, Savio didn't put that ball in on the right side either. When you move him over to his strong foot, no longer inverting him, now we see a different range of passing. So maybe if we play Doku on the right, we could see some of those the other types of balls that he can play other than just a driven ball across the 6 or back to the penalty spot. And then also, I didn't even include the fact that Oscar Bob is coming back because he's got to get back out there and show it again. But we will have creative players. I'll just qualify it by saying I think this season, up until now, Savio is proving to be our most creative at this point, and hopefully, like Pep has unlocked Savio by putting him on the left, and then Savio has unlocked the best out of Haaland in these last couple matches. Maybe playing Doku on that right side gets everybody playing well. And I know I'm pretty sure in the beginning of the season, the two of them said to Pep, "Hey, we want to switch." And they kind of just did it. Maybe he allows them to go back and play on their stronger foot, and we can see the best out of both of them or all 3.
Yeah.
Because if we can get creative players up around feeding the ball into Haaland, he will score. But again, it's just giving him touches in the right spaces. So
honestly, couldn't even finish celebrating the 3rd goal when Foden made it 4-0 thanks to City press forcing a bad pass. Aaron pass lands at the foot of KDB, and that close to the goal with all that space, he's going to make the right decision. And the pass to Foden, who squeezed the ball past Areola.
When you were watching it, it happened pretty quickly, so there wasn't a lot of time to question it or to second guess it. But when you were watching it live, when the ball went right to Phil as opposed to kind of a little short pass to
Holland on this left.
to Holland more on the left. What were your thoughts? Were you like, no, give it to Holland because he's already scored 2. He's on a hat trick.
He made the right play. I wanted to go to Phil.
I agree.
Phil
He
had
made the right play.
Yeah, I think Phil had the easier chance, regardless if you want to go left, right, middle, versus Holland would have had to like either have a really tight near post or have that really like, hard line shot across the 6. And Kevin made the right pass. And I will say this, I didn't appreciate Foden's like decision until I saw the replay and saw he went through the keeper's legs. I thought it was like near post, just from the angle, the first angle. And then they showed, I was like, oh, he went through the wickets. Like there's nothing you can do about that.
Went through the wickets.
And so it's like, man, that's really impressive, bro. 5-0.
Yeah. So with that goal, Sharpie, I'll go right back to you. Is he still Reggie to you, or has he upgraded himself that now he's just a mid?
I mean, he's Phil again, and I think it wasn't so much that one goal. It was, as Tarik hit up earlier, like the actions off the ball, the actions away from the 18. There were so many times this year where even before we get in the attack, like in true midfield like positions, he just really played small, and I didn't see that as much last year. That's how he went on to be PFA Player of the Year. Like he dominated those matches. So this time to see him, I don't know, his fitness, health, confidence, whatever the variable is, it showed. And he looked like he was back to boss in the midfield again. Or being able to like get in those pockets, get in those places where we know he can be successful and make something happen. Like I said, like even the last match when he took the shot, that's how Savio scored his first goal, because Foden shot at the goal. And so that's all that matters to me. Like, as long as you're putting actions forward, that's all I want as a fan. The goals may come, they may not, but like if you're timid or you can't get a shot off, then that's when I'm like, come on, bro, stop being Jack Grealish. But like, you're better than that. So I'll leave it there.
Yeah, and I'm with you, because there were moments where Phil would receive the ball and he would immediately just go and pass back. He wasn't doing that half turn and run that we have grown so accustomed to seeing him do. We're now starting to see that. He's taking the ball and he's running into space. He's making chances happen. He's finally realizing who he is. And I'm just happy that he's finally getting there. And then Fulkrug and West Ham, they get on the scoreboard thanks to some silly stake. The fans got real quiet and kind of were quiet for the rest of the match. Pep was asked about that, and the legend answered it perfectly.
It normally happened, that reaction. It's normal. Why? Because they saw something unique that this country never saw before. I'm sorry, in terms of titles, not in football, because Liverpool's and Chelsea's and United's, of course, and Arsenal, and everyone has his period. That was brilliant.
Yeah, he understands. They were trying to catch him and get him to say something and slight at the fans right after his 500th appearance, and the fans cheered his name. Like, no, it's just we get a little nervous when it comes post-match. Like, do we think West Ham are going to score 3 goals? No, but also we didn't think Feyenoord were going to do it either. So until the season ends, we will always, unfortunately, have that Feyenoord match that will be like, and honestly, I feel like there might be moments next year where we'll laugh about it, but it's still going to be brought up. But at least for the rest of the season, unless we get to the whole incredible run of form that we have experienced over the last few years, I think it's understandable if City give up a goal after, let's say, 70 minutes in the match. We are allowed to be a little scared, nervous. But yeah, they held on things. They handled business. And yeah, after a 4-1 win, how can you not be happy, right? Everybody was happy, right? Everybody was happy, right?
You judge the results. We saw during the years our level. We are not in our level. We won, we are so happy, it will help us. You judge results. Our performance was not good. We have to make a build-up, drop them, and have to make 2,000 million passes, and we don't do it. We don't pass the ball. That's why we suffer. And we lose the ball so easy, and that's why they can run. If you drop them and we pass the ball and go, how many times go left, go right, back, go left? No, we really want to finish. So, and it's not just about because we don't have Rodri. Of course, Rodri isn't replaceable, but it's not about that. It's our game still is so. Everything want to be quick. You want to win 4-0 after 20 minutes. No, that football has not happened today. You have to take time, relax, have the control in our hands through the ball. So we are not built the teams like many teams in England, like their physicality is stronger than us. Have been, in every season, have been stronger than us in terms of physicality.
Again, he speaks the truth. This was a win that felt great. But again, the team didn't play also at its best. But we need that. Like, first and foremost, it should be more important, did we get the 3 points, not how beautiful of the game did they play. I mean, that's nice, but I would like to see some consistent wins, and then let's start trying to win beautifully.
I agree. And I'll say this, right? Like 4-1 is the same as 3-0 when you look at margin of victory, but also like a 1-0 win is still worth 3 points. You know, so it's like they all are worth the same. You just got to get it done. And once you had a run of 2 months where you didn't get it done in so many matches, it's like, hey, appreciate this and be honest and say, yeah, we can always be better. We can improve. Like both things can coexist. And I don't think Pep was like, kind of talking down the performance because it was good.
Yeah.
But that was our 7.5, 7 out of 10. Because our 9 out of 10, we're winning a match 6-0. Like we know what the peak of City is, and yeah, we got to get back there. We got to, we got new people to put in, and kids are playing more, and yeah, we're missing the best player in the world. Like it's a lot that's missing, and a 7 out of 5 to get a 4-1. There are plenty of people in the Premier League, which we could talk about later, who would have loved to have a 4-1 win. I can think of a couple of clubs in red. So we take those wins and be happy. Choose joy.
As a coach, I understand what Pep is trying to say, because and I've never coached at the level that he has. I coached little kids, right? When my kid was in 3rd grade, starting her out 3rd, 4th, 5th, a group of kids that we were trying to teach basketball and get them to understand how to play the game, teach those fundamentals, right? And this is when Steph Curry is at his heights. So kids see, and even in high school, it's still the same thing now. Kids see Steph Curry shoot a shot and think that because it went in, it makes it a good shot. That's judging the outcome. The outcome was it went in, so therefore it must be good. No, it's still a bad shot. I don't want you to shoot it ever again. Well, but it went in. No, the chances of it going in are 1 in a million. So yeah, it went in that time. It's not something we can base our whole offense on or our whole, scoring strategies on, right? We have to play a different way. And so for Pep, it's like, this is not how we're not doing the things that I've instructed or I believe is the right way to play or I've trained them to do. And so while I can see the outcome, and the outcome was great because we got to win, we got 3 points at the end of the day, all of us as fans are saying that's all we care about. Mm-hmm. I'm sure Pep cares about the 3 points the most. But then now that we've got the 3 points secure, I can be a little bit more critical. When we weren't getting the 3 points, he was less harsh on our performances because we didn't get the 3 points anyway. So we got a lot of work to do. But now, we got 3 points. The fans are happy. Everybody's happy. Players think, we can just go out there and do that again. No. We're gonna get back to playing the way that we can play now that everybody's healthy, whatever. And I believe as coach that's how we're gonna win, not just one game, but we're gonna win those 10, 11 straight games. So I understand where Pep is coming from, but as a fan, I'm just glad we got them 3 points. I don't really care, Pep. Just give me 3 points every week and I'll be happy.
And one more thing, as you were talking, Tarik, it made me, you brought up basketball, and I thought about how, like, we know in basketball, lineups matter so much, right? You'll say a starting lineup, a bench lineup, rotations, like everybody knows their roles in different positions. Because of injuries, you have had a bunch of players that have not played with each other a lot of minutes comparatively to the last 4 years, right? So now you're integrating these people who, Sabina's on the right, on the left, Kevin and Phil over here, who's going to be in, who's going to be out. What do these triangles look like in the midfield? How are we breaking the press? Like all those different parts of the match, they're not going to be super fine-tuned because they just haven't had the reps. Now, do I expect this to look the same way by the end of the month? No. We got 4 more matches. Like, things should get better and we should start clicking as long as another injury doesn't happen, God forbid. But it's like, it takes time. And I think knowing that this is our baseline is great against a mid-table club, treating them the way they are. Now, what are we going to do in the FA Cup match? I can't wait to think and see what you all think's going to happen.
Before we switch to the FA Cup, when Holland went down, again, I had the luxury of knowing that he doesn't. I didn't see any comments about him being hurt or anything like that. But he went down and he kind of stayed down for a little bit. And I was just like, oh my God, this is, again, we know coming into this season, we had no backups for Rodri and he got hurt. We don't have a backup for Holland. And so seeing him go down, I was like, oh. And then I remembered, okay, no one has posted about it. So he's going to be okay. But in that moment, there was a little bit of a panic. And it's like, we have to go get a backup because, and he got up and he seemed to be fine. And I think they ended up taking him off not too long after that. But, if he goes down, we don't have anyone that's playing there. And we can say false 9 and all that. And yeah, that worked then, but this ain't that.
No,
that's not the same feel that we're seeing today, right? Maybe James McAtee and other. Yeah, we need to go get a backup striker.
And even Ortega going down for
yeah. We got Scott Carson putting his stuff on.
Bro,
he's like, he didn't even want to get up. He knew, man, come on,
he looked back
get up, man, because I'm not coming in this game. Look, I'm on the bench just for numbers. I'm not here to really go in the game, man. Get up.
You really want me to go out there? Like, actually, to be the keeper?
That man didn't even want to put his shirt on.
He's the human version of break glass in case of emergency. Like, that man's leg has to fall off for me to get up off and actually put on a kit. Oh, no. I don't even know the color. That man didn't have the color kit that the goalkeepers are wearing. He is in city warm-ups, and that's it. They didn't have a 33 Carson jersey available because they're like, why are we using this? Like, we're not using this. Ortega, you're going to die on this pitch, bro. Like, Carson's not touching it. He has the best job in world football. He is the vibes coordinator for the 4-time defending Premier League champions. It's amazing. I love it.
There was a match earlier in the season that we had was that young kid, the Spike, whatever his name is. He was on the bench. I saw it. I was like, oh, wow. So I had to go back and just look right now. He wasn't on the bench for this last match. So it would have had to be Scott Carson had he, been needed. But I just thought that was interesting.
I know the kit manager was running back to the locker room, quickly pressing a Carson in his number on the back of a kit real quick. Just like, oh, we do not have this. Let me go make this real quick.
He's got the same kit. He just carries it to every single city. He doesn't have to make them because, usually you play, you throw your kit to somebody, you get rid of them. You got to get new ones not Scott Carson. He's not playing. It has never got dirty. It's never got sweaty. It is just, man, yeah, it's ready to go. They made like 3 of them mugs at the beginning of the season, and they're still ready to go.
Yeah, the first one he used for the beginning of the year photo that they do, and then that was it. They're still on the other 2. Oh man. Okay. Well, time to talk this FA Cup against Salford City. Again on a Patreon. Big ups to One Up Front podcast, where we'll be talking to them in a few days, and that episode will come out immediately only on Patreon. We'll release the first 15 minutes so you guys can get a nice listen to it to see your thoughts, but please make sure to register. $6 a month will get you access to 20 hours a month of premium content. They are actually on a decent run, unbeaten in one. Actually, sorry.
Are you really about to do this? I'm gonna cut you off, bro. Are we really about to do this, dog?
Pep is if they interview Pep, Pep is gonna be like, hey, what the manager has been able to do this season for Salford City, it's been admirable. I haven't watched many of their games, but when I have before this, I like the way that they played. I like the way that the passes. Like he's gonna find some nice things to say about them. So I figure we should do the same thing, right?
We not Pep. That's the whole point. Let's keep it a buck, man. How many goals we scoring, bro? Let's call it spade a spade. Are we scoring 3, 4, 5, or 6? That's the
Depends on
FanFest
what
game. What are we
lineup
doing?
he runs out. Depends on what lineup he runs
Okay,
out.
let's talk that. Let's talk about potential lineups. Because giving me
Okay.
Salford's history and scoring, I don't care. I don't care.
So are we expecting the kids, and when I say the kids, I mean backups and people who don't play very much, and so a James McAtee start, Nico O'Reilly potential start, Jemai Simpson Puzzi start, or we're not going that far?
Yeah, I think that'd be a lot to ask of all of those
Why?
players.
Why is that a
What-
lot to ask of those players? We're talking about Salford City,
Salford
who is in
City,
the
bro.
4th division. Now, granted,
Yeah,
they're in,
league
I
was
think,
crazy.
3rd place in that division. But you know what? Between 2nd and I think 6th is like 3 points, and they could easily be passed by a team who's got a game in hand. So you can't tell me that we are in the top division. They are in the 4th division of English football, and these academy players who are sitting on our bench every single week can't play that match.
Okay.
Is that what
I
we
got a
saying?
lineup for you. I agree with you, Tarik. Here's the thing. If you look at our bench, right? Let's say Edison stays out just one more week to get healthy before, Brentford. If you keep Ortega, you let Walker come in for Kanji. I would say you could put JSP out there for Ake. Now, I think you have to keep Vardiol. He's the only left-footed defender we have. So I think you keep him out there, right? But maybe you even want to take you could put Rico and Walker could play that center beside JSP. Yeah. So like I will let Rico play again. I'm fine with New starting, Daku starting, Grealish. Like you could do a full rotation like we used to, right? You could have the FA lineup. You could have that because you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have 6 possible midfielders and attackers that didn't play on the weekend. That didn't play on Saturday. So you swap out 6 for 6, bring in a new defender. Like you could do almost a full rotation, and then you start Holland maybe for like the first half, let him get a goal, let him get in rhythm, and then we put it away 2-0, 3-0 at halftime. Okay, big man, you're off. Because when we think about it, this is the part where I think man management matters. The goals you score in a calendar year matter, and it's all competition goals, right? So if this is a chance for Holland to get a first half hat trick, you let him go get it, and then you say, okay, you rest up because we got Brentford on Tuesday. So I would not be shocked if Holland doesn't start, but I would be very shocked if he plays more than 45 minutes.
Okay.
So you said the only issue I have with that lineup that you rolled out, you said Kyle, the back line, Kyle, Simpson Puzzi, and Gavardiol.
And then Rico's still playing too. Like he's, in between. He's a 3-2 back forward.
Yeah. The only issue I would have is just simply that puts Simpson Puzzi in the middle of that back three. And usually you want somebody there that's a little bit stronger on the ball. Not saying that he's not strong on the ball, but just confident.
Fair.
And so
Which is probably why
I
you
don't
see a
know.
again, right?
Yeah.
I doubt Ake will play back-to-back weeks. But it is a week off. So like that's the hard thing is like we do have a week off, but we know we have 4 matches coming in the next 11 days. So it's definitely gonna be tough.
Does Nunez get a start?
I hope so if he's fit. I want to see him in midfield.
Start?
I would like to see
if he's healthy. We don't know who all is fully healthy though.
Yeah.
But we should see Doku get in there.
Kevin played a third 90 in a row and wasted it.
Yeah, I don't expect him to play. I don't expect him to play.
Him and Phil need a break. Bernardo definitely needs a break.
So what?
Gundo coming back.
Yeah,
Gundo, Nunez,
and Maka.
Yeah, but yeah. I was gonna say Nico O'Reilly. If you play Nunez on the wing, maybe I don't know.
All three, I feel like. That's why I think it'll be Gundo, Nunes, and Maka because I would love to see like Nico instead of Gundo, but it would be one of those things. Maybe he starts Gundo, and if he's
with this lineup, Gundo might be playing further up the pitch in one of the Foden, KDB. Well, KDB.
A cam roll versus a DM. I think if you want to, you could sit Newts beside Rico and be fine.
Yeah,
I don't mind that. Like he could do that deep, and then let Gundo and Maka operate in front.
yeah. Especially
I'm here for that box 4.
Yeah.
Goals. We score 4. I say 4+.
Okay.
Yeah.
Salford score.
Yes.
Oof. Yeah. If I say 3-0 and you say 4-1, it's the same thing.
Yeah. It absolutely is. And again, we just want to get the win, move on to the next round. I'm gonna say, I think 3. I was gonna say 2. I was actually gonna go a little bit more negative, but again, we should put up 3 or more goals. We should.
We can safely say Man City's in a good run of form now. Like it's okay. We've won 2 in a row with 3 on the spin unbeaten. We're playing Salford City. Like, let's not psych ourselves out here.
Yeah.
This is not harder than it has to be. And they have no motivation to sit back. They have to score to beat us, right? Like a draw is not great. It's the FA Cup. You have to win. So even if it's a tough 45 or a tough 60, like we're going to come. So if he plays the backups, he's got 5 subs coming in the second half. He plays the starters and they struggle because it's 1-0, 2-0. Okay, bring us a fresh legs. Let's run it up. Like everything is made for us to win, and I'm excited to see our draw for the next round because this is the trophy that's the most attainable, honestly. So I think if we had to pick a trophy to focus on, like we talked about earlier in the show, FA Cup is the one where you put all your marbles and say, like, let's do this.
Yeah, because you're definitely right. Because if you look at who's left in the FA Cup, I mean, obviously there's still plenty of teams, but Arsenal and United, they have to take each other out. So that's fun. And looking else at this, I mean, Chelsea, and then Brentford's still in it. Nottingham Forest could potentially get beat by Aston Villa, West Ham. They play each other. It'll be interesting. Oh man, Stockport versus Crystal Palace. Let's go. Let's hope Stockport can handle Stockport. That's a team that I do. If I would ever do a fantasy franchise, whatever it's called, career mode for on FC, I always take up Stockport just because lower division. And
what division are they in?
They're same.
Same as Salford. 4th division.
Yeah, they're not great. And so it's bring them up slow. It's just really fun playing with those bad teams because you really have to like learn yourself when you're playing with those teams that are slow and they don't know how to take the ball down and stuff like that. That first year, and then by the time you get to the Premier League, like you feel like you're a genius on those sticks. She's like, yeah, let's go, boy. Oh man, oh yeah, we should win. So if City just managed to scrape by a 2-1 win, even with the subs, we're not feeling great, right? Or do you just go, it's an FA Cup, who cares?
For me, I just go, it's an FA Cup, keep on moving, get the win,
survive
and
in
keep on
advance. Yep, survive in advance.
Okay. All right. Well, then we'll keep it moving to the last segment of the show. Shock, awe, and applause. This is where we either give roses or throw tomatoes at somebody. And this is a chance to, step outside of our citydom and talk about somebody else. Who wants to go first?
We love birds over here. You get cue Jim Jones. We fly high. No lie. You know this. Shouts to Brighton on the coast, making Arsenal drop points again, holding Arsenal to 1 goal again. I think we should start calling them DrAw-rsenal. It's easy, but they have 7 draws. Like, they are behind Brighton with 10 draws and Fulham with 9 draws. I'm sorry, Palace and Everton. So basically, they're like those clubs. Arsenal has only 1 more win in the Premier League than we do, and we've had the worst season in Pep's life. So, like, come on, guys, you're unserious. But Brighton is very serious, and João Pedro is a baller. He'll be the next one to be worth the pretty penny. He drew the pin in the box, making things happen. He flicked it to himself. Saliba headbutted him. It was a clear pin, no argument. and then he put it home ever so gently, lifted it up to the right. So proud of them for making Arsenal drop points. And when you look at the table, guys, it gets really fun because we are only 6 points behind Arsenal. 6 points. That's it. Only 2 points behind Chelsea in fourth, and yes, Forest have a game in hand, but only 3 points behind them. So top four is right there for the taking. And just being ahead of Arsenal this year will feel like a trophy to me. If we finish second and they finish third, oh my gosh, the win. So yeah, thank you, João Pedro and the Seagulls. Tarik, who you got?
I'm gonna shout out a player, not a team. Well, I guess first of all, I'll say thank you to Chelsea for dropping points. Thank you to Arsenal for dropping points. Thank you to Liverpool for dropping points. Appreciate it very much. Thank you all. But I'm going to give a shout out to Ipswich Town's Liam Delap, former City Academy player. I not called out, but we had a conversation about Holland's penalty and how they delayed, and it gets in his head and he missed it. I think they were down, if I'm correct. They were losing. Is that right? No, he scored the penalty that gave them the lead. They ended up losing it only getting a draw at the end. But the Fulham keeper was kind of like maybe 3 yards in front of him, having a dialogue and just trying to get in his head. And, they showed Liam Delap kind of smiling, like, whatever, man. He's like taking it in stride. He was loose with it, put the ball down, puts the penalty, crazy, great penalty, smashes it past the keeper. And it goes to show the mindset and the mentality of that kid. Again, we know that he probably would never have played if he was at City, because he would have been behind Alvarez and Holland last year. He would have been behind Holland still this year. So you can't see what you see today and expect that had he stayed. I get it. But it just goes to show the quality of the people that were in our academy. And I like the kid, so kudos to him.
Yeah, they played great. They looked good. Calvin Phillips came on at the end. I don't think he had to do anything with the goal they gave up, but he came on.
Of course, he's, hey, it happened, right? He's probably taking some blame on their side.
Oh, man. And then, I don't know what I was.
Who's your club, Crunk? Who you got?
I'm just disappointed in Valencia. I thought they could have did the thing and beat Real Madrid. They got Vinny to get sent off because he went mad, and Valencia just played and let Real Madrid be Real Madrid and scored the goals, and they now are back in first place in La Liga ahead of Atleti. As long as Barca doesn't win, I guess. I want Barca to continue to lose, because the more they lose, all of those levers that they have pulled just become more and more trouble, which could lead to us getting Pedri next season. That's my thing. Let's just...
Yeah, they're not getting rid of Pedri. It's not going to happen.
Okay,
they're going to get rid of a lot of people, but it ain't going to be Pedri.
Crunk's WWE background coming in.
I have to give up on Musiala and Verts, so I need to put this to Lulu somewhere, and so it's Pedri.
Yeah,
I don't want Young. I don't want any of their older players. I want some young phenom.
So do we think that? So I know I've seen that. Oh well, La Liga said no, we're not going to allow you to register Dani Olmo. Barcelona is going to take it to court. What do we expect the final outcome to be?
Based on what I read about him, I don't think they registered him, but I think he also doesn't want to leave. Mm-hmm. He wants to wait for Barca. more so than just go play somewhere else. Now, could a loan happen? Possibly. I can see that being like a nice middle ground. Like, hey, you still play football. You're not taking a whole year off. And, yeah, we're going to bring you back when you get some bread. But see, here's the thing, Crunk. I am so pro Barca from the Messi Ronaldo days that like every time you talk about him, I kind of cringe. I'm like, damn, like this is you really
It
you want
is.
the true evil empire to continue to win, but you want to go over like Barca who plays like who's the reason we've had this beautiful sport. But it's cool though. Your hate is real. I respect it.
I respect that opinion, Charlie, because
Barca, though. It's a different Barca.
That's that. So I'm with both of you very much so. So what I was gonna say, yes, going back, I've always been Messi over Ronaldo, which therefore meant I was Barca over Real. Messi's not on there, Ronaldo's not there, and what I've seen from Barca recently post Messi has been really just like crazy to me. All the different levers and just the way they run the club, it does not feel the same to me. And so I actually respect Real much more today than I did back then. And to a certain extent would rather see Real do their thing than Barca at the moment.
Ye
So
of
that's
ye of
crazy.
short memory. How dare you take up any type of banter for the club that disrespected Rodri and the whole club that
Yeah,
didn't show up
no,
to
you're
Ballon d'Or?
fair. That's
Come on
fair.
now. Come on now.
That's
You still
fair.
got Ronaldo
I
saying
didn't think
Vinny should
about
have
that.
won. You
Yeah,
got a
I
lot
didn't
of
think about
cowards
that.
over there in Los Blancos. I don't know coward in Spanish.
How about I don't
But
like
yeah.
either one of them? Let's call it that then, because I appreciate what Barca was. They are not the same club. The way that they have been run, the way that they are treating. I mean, again, no player should be in a position where come over to me and maybe you can be registered, maybe you can't. That's just a trash way to run your club. But I don't. Again, I don't feel too strongly because at the end of the day, I'm a City fan. I don't care about those other teams, but. Yeah.
Cobarde. That's Spanish for coward. Cobarde.
Oh, Costas.
Claro. All right. Yeah, I'm back to not really caring. It was fun. Like that Fulham versus Ipswich match. That was very entertaining. That was a very fun match. What I want to show love to is Man City for winning, because now I can just thoroughly enjoy football matches. I'm still watching the matches, but when City were down, I learned I can't hate watch, but because like I don't really find joy in other teams, like maybe like except for United, obviously United. Let's laugh at United, but just like Liverpool, we know what's going to happen with them, and then even with Arsenal, like they lose or drop points so awkwardly. Like it's what you guys deserve, but I don't think like my heart isn't happy seeing them lose like that. It's just like, yeah, you clowns. It's kind of what you get. Like I don't know. So I've learned I can be a hater, but hate watching is not necessarily my vibe. I'm learning a lot about myself.
I'm excited to listen to podcasts tomorrow. City won. Can't wait. It's gonna be great. Can't wait, guys.
Question. So we have Salford, Brentford, Ipswich. Then we have the Champions League match against PSG. Then we go Chelsea, Champions League against Club Brugge, Arsenal, Newcastle, Liverpool, Tottenham, Nottingham Forest, Brighton. That gets us to March 15th. That's a heck of a run
crazy
of
6
games.
weeks. Yeah, gets
so
us to the international.
we saw this team that we have right now struggle, and we dropped a bunch of points over a bunch of matches. Do we see a repeat of that, or in the next couple matches, can we reestablish that winning culture, get players back healthy, and actually compete in those matches, take points, maybe even get full wins against some of these other clubs, and then close that gap at the top?
Yup, that's exactly what's happening. And
go ahead, Cronk.
No, what do you got, Sharpie?
I'm going to reserve the right to say this. I just want to see our team's health after Ipswich.
That's fair.
Because it would be like, oh, I think we can do it, and then like we have 4 more injuries to the back line. It's like, well, no, we can't. So literally, a healthy City can compete with anybody in the world every single match. An unhealthy City, especially without Rodri, you don't have really chance. We've seen it, right? So like, if we are as fully fit as we can be, Oscar Bob comes back. People are fully fit and firing. I'm taking us against anybody. But yeah, like it's a run, and that's the run where we always separate because we're making teams drop points there, or even if they draw, right? Like that helps us out because okay, we got a point, we didn't lose ground, we gain ground the next match, you draw. Teams aren't used to playing every 3 days, so there are going to be a lot is going to shift in the next 2-3 months for sure.
Yeah, DS, Ederson, they should be. Yeah, like you said, if not back for Salford, they will definitely be back for the next match Tuesday against Brentford, hopefully. And then if not after that, and then we'll blink 2 more weeks. We should have Oscar Bob back. John Stones, there's no really understanding of what's wrong with him because it's a foot injury and kind of things like that. You have to just let it heal or else it just won't. And then we'll have everybody back. I would like for us to make some moves and bring somebody in. The Marmouche has been shut down. The Casanova, I would like him, but again, it's just like, how much would he play? Like, how much?
We just need depth. If he don't play, where we got a defender who can come out there who is a professional defender, that's for 25, 40 million, whatever. Like, that's still he's 20.
That's a defender,
great
right?
investment.
Yeah.
The one that plays in Lens.
Yeah, and I saw that we were gonna miss out, and maybe it was never a real thing, but was it Juma Ba? I think his name is African defender, 18-year-old. Yeah. And the reason that supposedly we are going to miss out, according to this tweet that I saw or post on Blue Sky that I saw, because I won't call it what you call it, was that we lost him, or we're going to lose him because we wanted to loan him back to wherever he is at, I forget what club, and then send him on loan to a Premier League club next year, as opposed to really bringing him in. And that's like crazy to me because, to your point, Charlie, we do need depth, we do need bodies, but then I guess if you have an 18-year-old and you're going to play him, why not play Simpson Puzzi, who is about the same age and grew up in our club, is part of our academy, has been a part of this whole time. Mm-hmm. So on one hand, it's a little confusing that we wouldn't bring a player in. But on the flip side, it's like, well, if we're going to play somebody else's 18-year-old, why not play our own 19-year-old?
Facts. Yeah, he's Valladolid. Okay. But yeah, we can get out of here. And yeah, make sure you subscribe to our Patreon. We have an amazing.
When do we see Mario Echeverri?
We won't. He's gonna come, but I think I would be shocked to see if he plays.
He's like the kid that went over to Italy, right? Spain. Yeah, same idea. Like, you might come in, but like he's not. Yeah,
he's gonna come in and project. Just be on the bench, train for the rest of the season.
He doesn't come to like after they finish like the South American tournament, so he won't even pop up to like February. Yeah,
that's right. I forgot about that tournament. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Sorry, you were doing your thing.
Lit stream this Thursday with Saul. We got 2 new first timers on the lit stream, Gabby and Megan Shink. Super excited to work with them. We have the match preview Breaking Bread with One Up Front podcast that will be out on Patreon. We will be doing a watch along for the match against Salford on FanFest, the new and improved FanFest. Earn points, win gift cards, scarves, game match worn kits, all kinds of things they're giving away to get people onto this new and improving version of FanFest. And I actually just confirmed this with the homie. His name is Luke. You might know him on Twitter, very popular, and he is 1/3 of Not in My Lifetime podcast. we're gonna do a nice little collabo for the transfer day, like a closing live stream. So we're gonna link up. It'll be 4:30 here, but it's 10:30 there, and we're just gonna kick it for until the transfer period close together, talk some football. What are his thoughts? We haven't worked together, haven't had him on the pod, haven't been on his pod before. We've always crossed each other and been like, hey, we need to work together. So it's gonna be really nice to finally link up with Luke. And yeah, I think that's about everything. Rate, review, all those fun things. Show Bros, let listeners know how they can find and follow y'all. Sharpie, we'll start with you.
Sharpie Charlie on Blue Sky. Come through.
Yarr.
Tarik Peterson on Blue Sky as well.
Hey. And you can check the show descriptions for everything. Shades of Blue, NW, it should all be in there. Hit the link, it'll take you right to our social media accounts that we have up, including our Patreon and FanFest. So yeah, you know the vibes. Shady gang, shady gang, shady gang.